Hey everyone, Goddess a Girl here. So today I'm going to be showing you how to basically create what I have as banners and panels and scenes and things. Some little basic graphic design stuff for your Twitch stream. I focus on Twitch because that's where I stream. But this can also be knowledge that you spread throughout the rest of your internet life. So you can use it on whatever you would like, pretty much. This is very basic. I'm not a graphic designer, just saying that right off the bat. So let me show you what we're going to be doing. Okay, so what we are going to be basically doing today is, again, very simple. We're going to start with panels. And then in part 2, we're also going to do scenes, like background things. But we're going to start with the little panels. Okay, again, very simple. I'm not a graphic designer. One day I will pay someone to make beautiful panels for me. But for right now, these look unique. They look personalized. They fit my style. And they do what they should be doing. Like I don't think they look bad. You know, that's all I'm saying, is I don't think they look bad, but I also think that they fit me and my channel, which is about hamsters, and also I like the colors pink and peach, so here we are. Anyway, so what we're gonna do first is go to my lovely, friendly website, which is totally free, not sponsored, by the way. I found this site and I really like it, and it is called freephototool.com. Wow. This website is 100% free. It's awesome. I love it. And it works very similarly to Adobe Photoshop Elements. So much so that at the very bottom of their page, it has a disclaimer that says that they are not associated with Adobe Photoshop. That's how similar it is. Okay, so what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna open up all of the images that I'm going to be using today. Okay, so I have 2 images that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using my first tier 1 emote. It's just my regular cheer emote because I love it and I think it's really cute. And then I also have my background image. This is a gradient image that I found from Google Images. Keep in mind, when searching for things on Google Images, there is such thing as copyright. So don't copyright. I'm going to put some sources for free to use image websites in the description below. So feel free to check those out. Just know that when you're using things on Google, like granted, 9 times out of 10, you're like probably nothing's going to happen. Like you're probably fine. But in the off chance that something does happen, if you're affiliated on Twitch or whatever streaming service that you're using, you can make money off of it directly through the website, as in not like donating through a PayPal link or something like that. You can get in trouble because you're making money off of somebody else's work technically, and that's not super exciting. It's like a huge legal issue. Please don't do that. Anyway, so I did get this off Google. I won't lie, but it's a gradient image. It's not, I don't think anyone's going to come for this gradient image, you know what I mean? But if I were to like find somebody's like artwork on Google, that might be a problem, you know what I mean? Anyway, this is my template. I have my layers here. I can go to my text layer and see what font I used. I will also have a link, or not a link, a list in the description of the fonts on this particular website that I like the most. I haven't gone through all of them. There's a lot, but I will put those in the description so that way you guys can maybe help find yourself something that you like that looks a little bit nicer than using Arial or Comic Sans. Please don't use Comic Sans unless you're using it ironically. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. First things first is we are going to create our template. So first of all, I gotta remember what size I made this. I made it 522 by 130. So to create our foundation, basically, of what we're doing, what we're going to do is go File, new, and then type in some sort of title. So here I have banner draft, and then put in the dimensions. So 522 by 130. That's what I went with. That's how my emote appears best. If I go with the 320 by 100 that's recommended, my emote doesn't look right. It looks fuzzy and gross. So we're not going to be doing that today. So I think that's why I came up with this ratio, actually, is because the height of 130 is just slightly bigger than the height of my emote, which is 112. So that's probably why. Good thing to keep in mind. So if you ever see somebody's panels and they have like an image that like overlaps into the background of their profile, you can do a transparent image. And so that's going to show up like this. So basically what you can do to get that effect, I'm going to show you guys that first, because honestly, like, it's really helpful, and like a lot of people do it, and I think it's really cute, and I'm probably going to do it one of these days. I haven't gotten there yet. So what I'm going to do is take my background image, my gradient image, and I am going to change the image size to match that of my draft. So I'm going to unlink that so that way it's not the same ratio. It's a gradient, so if the ratio changes at all, it's not going to look wonky. You know what I mean? So on the width, we're going to make that, oopsies, I know how to do things, 522 by 130. Alrighty, there it is, super tiny. We zoom in, and what we're going to do is do Control A, and then that basically selects the image, so you'll see the dotted line going around it, showing you that you have selected this entire thing. And then you're going to click Control C on your keyboard. It's Command if you're on a Mac, by the way. Some people don't know that, so you're welcome. Anyway, so Control C, that's going to copy it, and then we're going to head back over here, and we're just going to do a Control V. V is in Victor. That's my dad's name, by the way, and I think it's really funny that people say Victor all the time. Anyway, so Control V, and that's going to paste it. Boo, yeah. Now, let's say you want, why is it locked? Can it stop being locked? Thank you. Let's say you want that overlap into the background. So what you could do is just pull that down a little bit. And then what we can do is take our cheer emote. Oh, I just realized something. Hold on. First, what we're going to do is we're going to flip it, because I don't know if you can tell, but my hamster is facing slightly more to the left than it is to the right. I'm going to have my text to the right of the hamster. Oh, I didn't do that originally. Oh, this is good to know. I'm going to be updating these. I just did it like a month ago, but I'm going to be updating these again. That's the nice thing about making your own panels, especially when you're first starting out and you're like picky like me and you're like, I gotta update these. Like, you're updating something like this that has like your emotes and your sub badges and everything on it. Or like you just want to make new panels, or like change the word that you use. Like maybe instead of Twitter and Discord, you just have a socials panel. You know, things like that. Anyway, you can update them at any time by doing something like this, which is great. So what I'm going to do is, since I want the hamster to be more facing the words, I'm going to flip it. So we're going to go to Image, Transform, and flip horizontally. Boo, yeah. Okay, now it looks so weird to me because I've seen this so many times, and I don't think I've flipped this one before. It looks weird. Anyway, that's fine. So we are going to do Control A. Make sure that it's reselected, because just in case, I don't know. Anyway, and then go Control C. And then we're going to head back over here and we're going to do Control V. So now we can see that it's going to, if we center it, stick up just a tiny bit over the top there. That could be an effect that you like. I probably wouldn't go this route with like just a straight like line like that. Like you would probably want to do a tiny bit more to it to make it look good. But if you want your image to kind of overlap to the background, this grid here, it's just going to disappear. That is transparent there. So that way, if people switch between dark and light mode, you don't have to match the color and like fill that in, you know what I mean? They can switch between dark and light mode and it's still gonna look transparent. You'll just want to make sure that you save it as a PNG. Only PNG image files can have transparency. JPEG will just fill that right in. Don't trust JPEGs. We don't like them. We're not fans. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to overlap because I'm basically kind of copying this guy here. So I'm going to take my background layer, select that again, and move it on up here. So you'll see that when you are moving images around, you want to be, first of all, on the move tool here. Second of all, you'll see that there's little lines, and it's going to try to snap a tiny bit, not a lot, so that way you still have some freedom. And you'll see these red lines that show up. That shows you if you're centered, if you're aligned with the top or the bottom or the side or something like that, or the crosshairs for the middle. So and even has this one where you can be to the side of the center line, which I think is really nice. And you can also do that if you're coming down here. So that could be really helpful with alignment. Alignment is very important in graphic design just because it makes things look aesthetically pleasing. Again, I'm not a graphic designer. These are just little tips and tricks that I have picked up. Anyway, so what I want is I want it centered, and I want it not completely touching the edge. I want it out probably about the same much that it's going to be from the top and the bottom. So that way it's about the same amount of border all the way around. Now, I want some text. I want it to say about me. About me, because I want to tell people about me, because I like myself, and I think if people are clicking on my channel, they might like me too. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to hop over to the text tool here, and then just click in the middle of the screen. It's going to load for a second. Here we go. And now we can type. So, I'm going to type in about Amy. That doesn't look good. If you think that looks good, I have news for you. First of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, I'm sorry. So what we're going to do to make it better is, first of all, to make it look like this, we need the font, we need the text color, and we need the stroke. The stroke is that black line going around it. Now we can still do a couple different things. I'm just showing you exactly what I did here. That is all. And maybe like a few little extras that you can play around with as well. So about Amy. That doesn't look very good. What font do I need? So if I click on this, what font is that? It's called Oleo Script. So I'm just going to come over here, highlight it, come over here, and we can just type into this little find search box here, Oleo Script. And this is the one that I want. So that already looks a tiny bit better. Obviously, still a little flat, still a little sad, you know what I mean? So we're also going to want to up the size here and then reposition it. Okay, it's a tiny bit big. We don't want to scream at people, you know what I mean? And then we can take this, and again, if we go back to this tool and we have that text layer selected, then we can get it centered in the middle there. So that just makes it look a little bit nicer, you know what I mean? And so if we go back to our text tool, if we were to click anywhere else outside of that text with our text tool selected, it's going to start a new layer for new text. But we want to keep working on this layer. So if we just select that, it's going to have the little text icon, whatever. You know what I mean? And then we highlight that. Then we have that same text still selected, still working on the same layer. And what I'm going to do is change the font color, the text color, to white, because I like that a little bit better. It kind of blends into the background. It doesn't really stand out to me. So we're going to do one more thing, and we don't even need the text to be selected. We just need the layer to be selected, which is going to be helpful looking at this to know what it's going to look like. We don't have that like line going around it. It's not highlighted. So what we're going to do to get the black outline around that is we're going to click on layer, layer style, and then stroke, which sounds horrible, and it starts to look horrible because their default color is red, so that way you know where you're looking. You know exactly what you're doing with this tool right off the bat. So I really like the size 3 pixels for the stroke for this size of font. I think it looks really good. It stands out. It's not too bulky or chunky, you know what I mean? So I'm going to leave it on the 3 pixels that it starts off as, and I'm going to change this to black just to keep it nice and simple. Boom. That's it. That's the whole panel. That's exactly what I have here, except the emote is turned the other way. Like the text is slightly off. So we have that. And that looks great. Another tool that I like when it comes to text and images to pull them out from the background a little bit so that way they're not flat and flush with it is the outer glow tool. So let's click on the emote here. And if we go to layer, layer style, and then all the way at the bottom, outer glow. And you're already going to see it's pulled out a little bit. This right now is looking kind of chunky and not pretty. So to make that better, we're going to increase, not the spread, I'm sorry, I always mix these two up, but the size. And then what we can do is we can also turn down the range a little bit. Oh, no, never mind. Turn up the range. That's what we want. I feel like things are backwards with the tools in this, so you do have to kind of play around, unfortunately, to kind of get used to things, but I do like that. And then you can change the opacity as well. The opacity one does make sense. 100% is brighter and 0% is nothing. So we're going to put it back around the 75%. And then the range, I'm liking that. Maybe a little bit smaller, especially because, ooh, I didn't want you to disappear completely, sir. Thank you. Which way is it that I want it? This way. Okay. Thinking that, and then maybe a tiny bit bigger. Okay, there we go. Especially since the bottom of this image is kind of cut off. It's not technically the bottom of the image. Like if you were to imagine this hamster in real life, it has legs. And so, of course, for an emote purpose, it doesn't have the legs because that would be a lot of information in a tiny little image. So I don't want to draw attention to that, so I don't want the glow to be too strong. So I like it just very light and simple like that, and it just helps kind of pull it out. Now, if I were to click on the About Amy layer, the text layer, and go back to layer, layer style, and outer glow, it's going to immediately show the last settings that I had. So it's going to copy the exact same settings that I had for my emote right over here. And again, it pulls it out ever so slightly just to add a little oomph, you know what I mean? So that way it's not flat. Flat is boring. Oomph is good. That's something that you can do, and you can play around with all the different styles and everything. Personally, those are my 2 favorite. I think they look the most professional. But yeah, and then we also have things like filters that you can play around with. Personally, I think the filters are a little bit much, but if that's your thing, or if you can, you know, make that work for you, or if it's like part of your style or something, awesome. That's built in right here. You don't need to like put it into another like photo editing app or whatever. And then we also have different settings. So if you're doing a photo, I would suggest looking into turning up brightness and contrast, exposure, looking at your levels, your color balance, all of that. Great things to look out. Just remember, turning things up a little bit, good. Going overboard, probably not good. So unless you're like changing it to be black and white, which I don't know why they have a black and white option when they have a hue/saturation option. You could just turn down the saturation, then all of a sudden it's black and white. So I'm a little confused. I haven't actually touched the black and white tool, so I'm not really sure. But anyway, so yeah, you guys can play around and see how this could work for you. Here's something I forgot to mention. I'm currently recording part 2, but I'm gonna put this into part 1. And that is how to save your file. It's kind of important. I went over the fact that if you have transparent, anything transparent going on, you want to make sure you save it as PNG, and that's how you're going to upload it. That's what I have uploaded here, is PNG files. However, if you want to continue working on this, you need to save the project file, because even if you delete, say, the Twitter logo off of your computer, if you save the project file, the PSD file, and then just open it up into this program again, you can just take that Twitter file, that Twitter logo and copy it and paste it into your new project without having to go and re-download it or like search through your files for it again. You can start exactly from where you are here. That way you don't have to redo, you know, the ratios, copying and pasting your emote in, the layers, all of that. You don't have to do it again. You can just change what you want to change. So to save your project file, you're going to go to File, Save as PSD. And make sure you already have it named the way you want it named. So just double click on that. Make sure you have it named what you want it named. Click OK. When you click on File, Save as PSD, it's going to immediately save it to your downloads. Click on Show in Folder, and it'll be there. I have it zoomed in right now, so that way you guys can see the actual program because there's a lot of background space. So that's how you save the project file. That is very important. You're going to want to save the project file. Even if you're like, oh no, like if I don't know if I'm ever going to need this, save the project file anyway. Do yourself a favor and save the project file. One more time, please do yourself a big, massive favor. Future you is going to appreciate it so much. Save the PSD. And then once you've done that, then go to Export As and save the PNG. And that's going to bring up this screen. It looks really weird. I don't know why they like zoom it in so much. I don't know why they don't just like show you the whole thing. Like, I guess you can grab it and like move it around. That's not all it's saving is like what it shows in this display window. I think it's just showing it at like full size so you can see how clear it is. I don't know. Anyway, I guess if you really want to, you could turn down the quality. I don't know why anyone would want to do that though. Please don't do that. Anyway, we're going to want that to be at 100%. We're going to want to keep these things all the same because that ratio is what you were working with. And that's what you set it as at the beginning for a reason, because that's the image size that you want in the end. So make sure, again, that that's at 100%. For some reason, it's not like... Oh, there it goes. Okay. 100%. I don't know what don't use palettes means, so don't ask me. I just never have it checked. In fact, I've never actually really looked at that before. But anyway, and then you go ahead and click Save, and it's going to save directly to your downloads. What you are going to want to do, and this is a promise, is to categorize things. I have a whole folder just for Twitch related things. So I have my sub badges in their own folder with all the sizes that I need. If I get future sub badges, they can go right in here. Makes things super easy. Same with my emotes. They're all in here. I have my old scenes and their project files. I saved those, including my Halloween ones, just because that's a personal thing. I guess you can delete them if you feel like it, if you're like, I'm never going to use this again, but these are my old ones. That's all. Just in case I especially recommend at least keeping your project files for them. Even if you don't keep the actual image itself, keep the project files, just in case you want to keep working on it. You know what I mean? And then I have one that's for my current scenes and overlays. So I also have my overlay as well. I have that all saved here. That way it's all right here. It's really easy to access. I have my background. I have my texture, super easy to grab, and I can find that. So, and then I have just other little things. I have all of my sounds included here, as well as like my alert sounds, the originals. So like when I download a video from YouTube, it's all right there. I'm going into a lot more here. But yeah, and I have other things that I need saved, like Discord banner stuff. I have that Twitter logo saved. So yeah, super helpful. At least I think. I hope this was helpful. Next video, part 2, is going to be showing how to do this, which is just a little bit more. We have a few more layers, and we even have some texture. Oh, stay tuned for that. And feel free to like send me pictures on Twitter of what you end up creating with this. If you have questions, feel free to ask. I don't know them all. I taught myself this program, and like I said, I haven't touched most of the tools in it, but I can probably maybe help. Thank you all so much for watching this video today. I super appreciate it. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos from me, I'm going to be doing gaming videos, more technical videos, kind of like this one, as well as just regular life videos, so you'll see my face on this channel in the future. I got a new phone, and I can record videos with my new phone. So you guys must see my face and some story times, you know what I mean? So definitely subscribe to check that out. I've heard the notification bell is a good thing to click, so go ahead and click that if you feel like it. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out. I super appreciate it. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye!